Hi, wish you are doing well. Welcome to Teach English with Passion, an educational channel which aims at giving a helping hand to all teachers who strive to do their job appropriately. We present series of videos in which we give EFL teachers insights into English language teaching. Our videos combine theory and practice, showing teachers how they can design interesting teaching materials which would make both teaching and learning English more fun and more interactive. Eager to know more? Don't go anywhere, keep watching. We're gonna continue dealing with how to teach receptive skills. In this new series of videos, we'll be talking about teaching reading. In fact, teaching reading goes through the following framework: pre-reading or before reading, reading or during reading, and post or after reading. In this video, our main concern is the first phase, which is pre-reading. So let's get started. The pre-reading stage represents the first phase in any reading skills lesson. This phase is really important because it serves to prepare learners for the reading phase by helping them anticipate the topic of the reading passage. During this stage, the teacher sets the mood for reading, arousing learners' interest to read as he indulges them in the process of predicting the topic of the text. At this stage also, the teacher can introduce some key vocabulary items needed for the understanding of the reading passage. This is all mainly done through designing a number of learner-centered activities. Teachers can use various techniques to introduce the topic of the reading passage and to familiarize learners with its content. Now we're gonna explore some of the most widely used pre-reading strategies. The first pre-reading strategy is brainstorming. It implies activating learners' prior knowledge about the topic of the reading passage. The teacher can do this by asking questions, brief discussions, or by many other techniques. The second pre-reading strategy is using pictures. Here, the teacher displays a number of pictures related to the topic of the reading passage and asks learners to consider them to find out about the topic. Or he can ask a number of questions about those pictures to help learners discover the topic of the reading passage. Another interesting pre-reading strategy is word splash. The teacher provides a collection of key vocabulary terms related to the topic of the text, and he asks learners to discuss those terms with their partners. Later on, learners make connections between those words to predict the topic of the reading passage. The last pre-reading strategy is the KWL chart. It is a graphic organizer which ties up the pre-reading stage with the post-reading stage. KWL is an acronym. The K stands for what I know. In this part, learners write everything they know about the topic, any ideas or any prior information about the topic. W means what I want to know. In this column, learners jot down any ideas or information they would love to know about the topic. The last column is what I have learned. Learners fill in this part after reading the text, and they complete it with any new information they have got from the reading passage. This would be a great post-reading activity, as learners would have a class discussion about the topic of the reading passage, and they would also share the new things they have learned with their classmates.
Time for practice.
Since we are dealing with teaching reading, I have chosen a reading skills lesson from the Algerian curriculum. Unit number 2, Poverty and Word Resources for second year high school learners. Working on the same reading material you have on the textbooks on page 69. Here are some pre-reading activities that you can design for that lesson. Note that you can either print these activities on handouts and you distribute them among learners, or you can simply display them on the projector. After greeting learners, you direct their attention to the pictures given and you ask them to work in pairs for a few minutes to do the activity suggested. Learners discuss with their partner what does each picture show and they choose the right answer that corresponds to each picture. Later on, they interact with their teacher to check their answers. Note that while learners share their answers, you can ask them to describe briefly what do they see on each picture before giving their answers. This really helps in fostering learners' oral fluency. After brainstorming the topic of the text using pictures, you ask learners to guess the topic of the reading passage. You can say, okay, just looking at those 3 pictures, what do you think the text will be about? Learners here start to make predictions and you write their answers on the board. So at this stage, you don't correct learners' answers and you don't say whether the ideas are true or false. Learners later on are asked to read the text to check their answers, and this would be the end of the pre-reading stage and the beginning of the reading stage. That's all for today's topic. Hopefully you find it helpful and useful. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics you want me to deal with, leave a comment below. If you like the content of the video, subscribe now and share the video with your colleagues. Stay tuned. Have a nice day. Bye.